nilikisikia vibaya, ni ile kwamba kila siku kauli kwamba watajua hawajui akina nani. Who are those? Kwa sababu kama ni upande wa Raila, kuna nusu ya Wakenya waliweza kumvotia na bado wanamuamini. Hasa kama kiongozi wa taifa huwezi kuja na kauli kusema kwamba watajua hawajui, kwa sababu mimi ndio rais. Tayari watu wanafahamu ndio rais. Hata bibi yako huwezi mwambia kila siku mimi ndio mume katika hii nyumba, kwa sababu tayari anajua. Ama watoto wako waambie mimi ndio baba wa hii nyumba, kwa sababu hilo ni jukumu lako. Na Gachagua ni kama kwamba sasa this is an excuse kutaka kufuta haswa hii kauli kwa haraka, kuona kwamba yeye amesimama. Unajua hii ndio maana anasema siasa ya propaganda. Gachagua sasa yeye anasema kwamba ni vijana wa Nyanza wenye kuharibu. Hiyo haiingii, maana sijasikia hata kauli moja ya vijana wa Nyanza wakisema kwamba sisi ama viongozi wa Nyanza kwamba tutasema sisi tutafanya hivi, tutamalizana na Ruto, tutamuua Ruto. Maana huyu ndio msumbufu, Gachagua ndio msumbufu. Sisi hatujaliona. Na pili, historia haswa ya hawa kabila mbili, haswa ya jamii mbili, Mjaluo ni si rahisi aghalabu sana kumpata katika matukio ya wizi wakiholela holela. Kwa hivyo ukweli wa mambo kwamba Gachagua yake ni excuse, lakini akumbuke anajifunga na mdomo wake yeye mwenyewe pamoja na timu yake ya watu watatu, wakiwemo Ichungwa, Ndini Nyoro na Moses Kuria. Hizi kauli zao ndo zinatia mashaka kwamba wao ndo wanahaya gunzi, wanahaya hawa vijana. Alafu sasa turudi katika swala zima ulioniuliza Jex la kuweza kusema kwamba pengine tutajaa na waponda na waumiza mashabiki wengi kuwakatisha tamaa. Nitawakatisha tamaa kweli, kwa sababu nasa vyama vinaanza kufifia, vyama vinaanza kuingiliwa, vyama vinaanza kuletwa katika mfumo wa chama kimoja. Sasa hivi tuangalie tu Mudavadi, kama kuna siku tu aliweza kuzungumzia, yani ni lini haswa tukikumbuka haswa alipoweza kusimama mahali aidha juu ya gari kuzungumza kuhusu chama chake cha ANC, of which hicho ndani kimeingizwa tayari kwa UDA. Tuangalie vurugu mechi ambayo inaendelea katika Jubilee. Wale waliasi wakawa wana support, wako ndio kwa Jubilee but wana support Kenya Kwanza. Jinsi wanavyokiyumbisha chama cha Jubilee ambacho definitely hakuna mtu ambaye hajui kwamba Jubilee iko ndani ya Azimio. The way juzi waliweza kuvamia, the way waliweza kuteuana wao kwa wao, tunashuhudia the same thing applies kwamba Sabina Chege jana anaambiwa ndio chairman ndio secretary ndio chairman ameweza kuchukua kiti nafasi ya Uhuru Kenyatta. Of which ni kama chama hiki kinataka kusambaratishwa na kiingizwe tena back kwa UDA, kwa kitu ambacho hapa ni kuua wabunge, kuua hasa na vyama. Je, haswa mpango mzima wa kufanya hivi ni kuleta, haswa mimi mtazamo wangu kama msimamo, kuileta Kenya katika mfumo wa chama kimoja. So we are now going back to where you used to be, mahali ambapo tuliweza tukapigania tukasema hapana kuwe na multipartyism, na tukatokana na hiyo hali katika hali ambayo pia haikuwa rahisi kuweza kuleta hiyo multiparty. Watu wa sacrifice maisha yao. Now we are going back there. Na nikirudi tena mwisho haswa nikimaliza submission yangu ili nisiwachoshe na nichukue tu hicho kamba mimi ndio peke yangu mwenye maoni, turudi back to our police. Haswa nguvu ya polisi jinsi ilivyo kwa sasa hivi. Je, ina tofauti na wakati ule mahali tulitoka tena? So ndio nikisema nchi mali tunaipeleka, kama hatutaweza na ni laana hii yote, naweza ngasema ni laana, kwa sababu yote haya yote tunayafanya Kenya, tunasahau kwamba tuna majanga na Mungu sasa anachukizwa na hii nchi. Mauaji ya kiholela ambayo yanafanyika, awe ni Mackenzie awe ni nani, lakini yale tu tunayashuhudia haswa ni majanga, na Mungu atachukizwa na hii nchi. Na ndio maana nchi nyingi hupromoka haswa kirahisi, basi ni kutokana na viongozi ambao wako na misimamo ya hali ya juu, lakini kudeliver kwa wananchi hakuna, zaidi ya kujifeva wao na kutafuta madaraka wao. Jinsi gani tutabaki kwa power? Kwa hivyo time ya kuweza kumfikiria mwananchi inakuwa ngumu, na nchi inasambaratika kutoka pale. Mwananchi hatapata huduma, mwananchi hataweza kumtegemea lolote kutoka yuko. Akishaanza kulipuka, sijui nani ataweza kuuzima huo moto wa mwananchi. Na ndio kitu ambacho tunaelekea kwamba tunaelekea pale, endapo tutaenda pale na mwananchi sasa alipuke the whole country, nani wa kuweza kuizima?
Asante sana msimamo, lakini nitajibu swali ambao uko umesema ya tumaini ya Wakenya si lazima iwe miaka 100. Nitajibu tu kabla show kuisha ili nisikuwe tena
Sawa Jack, naona unikuruhusu juu naona napigiwa mshindo. Unajua huku ni kubangaiza sisi watu wa mashamba huku.
Sawa.
Ni kwamba tunakaa
ni sawa.
Naona nagonga mlango hapa kidogo, nitatoka hapa. Kwa hivyo niweza niuliza maswali matatu ama ukanielimisha ama nikasikiza tu kutoka kwenu kabla nitolewe hapa. Nikwambie pale kwanza.
Swali kwanza naweza kukuuliza mbio before ni ku-release. Swali tu moja ni hivi. Sawa, umeongea vizuri na nimeshukuru, lakini swali yangu ambao ni fupi sana. Mwisho wa siku suluhu, because by the end of the day, whether server ifunguliwe, whether tumefanya haya yote, suluhu
simple,
because
suluhu ni hii kakaangu Jex. Kwanza tumshukuru Mungu katunuku kiongozi huyu mmoja ambaye ni ambari, ambaye ni neema, ambaye ni dhahabu. Tunafaa kuilinda, hatufai kuiponda na kuichafua. Kwa sababu kiongozi huyu ambaye amebaki mmoja, ni mengi amepitia katika hili taifa. Ni mwenye kuipigania hii taifa, ni mwenye kusimama haswa na taifa ndani ya moyo wake. Lakini kwa sababu tu ya kuweza kumfikiria na kuweza kumponda na kuweza kumkenyagia na kuweza kumnyima haki, hapo ndo tunaikosa neema ya Mungu. Tungemwachia despite kwamba hata kama ni kabila kutoka wapi, tungemwachia uongozi tuone hili taifa angelipeleka wapi. Lakini huku kung'ang'ana haswa kuingia katika madaraka ndiko kunakochangia haya yote, kwamba lazima lakini tungempa nafasi yake na kuamini kwamba hakati tunampa haki yake, ongoza hiki ulichopigania na tumpe heshima yake. Wallahi na kwa Mwenyezi Mungu hii nchi ingeenda Korea. Hilo tu ndo nataka nikwambie, ndio dawa peke yake. Tumpe haki yake huyu mtu, tuacheni na ubinafsi wa makabila, tumpe na tumheshimu. Yaliyopigania ni mengi, kama ni wakufa angekuwa ashakufa kitambo. Huku kwamba tunamtrenda na kumwambia tunakuwa na wakati, huyo ndo neema ya hii nchi. Hapo ndo tunapokoseka, ndo tunapomchukiza Mungu. Asante.
Okay. Najua si mzalendo, najua tayari ushamzindua.
Unajua msimamo ameanza vizuri na akamaliza vizuri. Ile kile kitu pale tu amekosea kidogo ni hakuna vile uongozi wa Kenya inaweza pewa tena mtu mwingine kwa sasa. Lazima tuzingatie sheria. Msimamo ni mtu ambaye anazingatia sheria. Ile kitu amesema ya muhimu sahi, taifa tuliweke kwanza. Kama vile nilimwelewa vizuri. Sisi tunatambua juhudi za Bwana Raila Odinga katika siasa za Kenya.
Dakika tu moja. Ashley, I don't know if you are there.
Ashley. Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if you are.
I've turned off the camera.
Oh, okay.
I'm not. I think I'm on the show.
Oh, okay. Mboro as well, are you there? Mboro wako, unajua kuna watu wako kwa studio, yes, but
naelewa.
Endelea mzalendo, but Ashley is in.
So tuzingatie nchi ya Kenya. Kwa sababu unaona kama hizo maneno, ile matamshi ya Bwana Moses Kuria. Jana nilikwambia kwa hii show, that was regrettable. Nikisema unaona kama nchi ya Rwanda nchi ya Rwanda ilianza tiki mchezo hivi, waliangamiza kiongozi wa kabila fulani la Biryamana. Ndege yake iliangushwa chini. And that led to the genocide in Rwanda. Na ikaanza kuleta hiyo ukabila, ile ukabila mbaya sana. You kill Raila Odinga today, I can assure you that everything will go south. It will not be very, very easy to stop that violence. but sahi mali tumefika kisiasa. Wakenya hawawezi tumiwa sana. Kuna bado wachache tu wale wanaweza tumiwa kuleta rapture. Wale wachache, na ukiangalia vizuri ni wamelipwa kuleta ile rapture. Hakuna mahali kuna kabila inadhulumiwa kama katika zile enzi za Moi, ambapo tulikuwa tunaona viongozi wawawa kama kina huko walipoteza maisha yao. Na viongozi wengi sana waliwawa sababu ya siasa.
Okay.
Now hawa wanasiasa wamekuwa katika hiyo msafara ya kutafuta nchi nzuri, nchi ya Kenya, nchi ambayo iko na maadili, nchi ambayo inazingatia sheria, nchi ambayo inazingatia haki ya binadamu. Unapata ya kuwa hao viongozi wanatutumia sisi kama wapigaji kura.
Okay.
Nilisema hapo mwanzo, sisi ndio chakula ya mwanasiasa.
Okay.
Sisi ndio ana chakula yake. Bila sisi ana maisha yoyote. Iwe ni William Ruto, iwe ni Raila Odinga, iwe ni Bwana Kalonzo.
Okay.
Hawana maisha. But Jakes, kwa huu muda na nafasi ile tuko hapa Kenya na Mungu ametupatia uhai, tuanze kuangalia jinsi tunaweza kumaliza ukabila nchini Kenya. Probably hii generation yangu ndio generation ya mwisho wale watakuwa wanazingatia mambo ya ukabila. Mambo mtu kama watoto wangu sijawafundisha ukabila. Sijawafundisha ya kuwa ni muhimu aangalie kabila lake kwanza. Nimemfundisha aangalie kwanza kuwa yeye ni Mkenya.
Poleni kidogo, nilikatikiwa ndio maana nikaondoka. Sasa pole sana kaka mzalendo, asingeweza kukupata, lakini nilikatikiwa kidogo hapa, nikabidi nirudi mahali niazime kama wataweza kuniruhusu kupata jibando
Pole.
Angalau
Angalia maneno yako bwana.
Mzalendo, niweke namba ujai niekea ama uliweka sikuona? Kuna siku nilikuwa ninapeana bundles, nilipea watu wengi sana, sikuona namba yako.
Patia msimamo na bundles. Huyu jamaa ako kwa kichaka.
Nilipea watu zaidi ya 30 na kitu bundles juzi.
Huyu mpatie, kwa sababu kwa nini naangalia msimamo anatoka Kwale kule chini kabisa, na maoni yake ni safi sana. Ni maono ambao ukiangalia ni mtu anastahili apate kiti pale kwao, ili aangalie vile anaweza saidia watu pale kwao. Skule msimamo utasimama, mimi nitakusupport na kusupport kabisa. Na sitazingatia uko pande gani kisiasa, kwa sababu hiyo ndio fikra na maadili tunataka kwa viongozi. Unanielewa? Hiyo ndio fikra na maadili ndio tunataka kwa viongozi. Na pia kama kiongozi unafika mahali unasema it is time to stop. Hapana, there is something wrong with what we are doing. Unajua, hauwezi kuwa unasema tu whatever I'm doing is right. Lazima useme
dakika moja. Pole watu wa Facebook, itakatika in the next 2-3 seconds. Tafadhali mtaniwia radhi, ndio muona hata mimi imenitoa, maana Nilikuwa nimelogin kupitia, hata actually imeshawatoa watu wa Facebook, pole sana. Lakini unaweza tupata kwa YouTube, because sijui kama tutakaa sana, because nina uwezo wa kuanzisha tena. But,
so
bila wao
unanielewa Bwana Jex na msimamo. Hii sasa mahali tumefika, lazima tuangalie na tuinue wale viongozi tunaona hawa wanaweza saidia jamii. Mimi nishakwambia msimamo ni mmoja wao, akitoka pale Kwale. Imefika mahali anasema hii kitu, mimi kama shabiki wa Bwana Raila Odinga nimemshabikia sana sana sana, lakini mahali tumefika kisiasa naona kuwa kuna kitu hapa. Ukiangalia hao vijana wale wanaambiwa wale wa Jakaranda, kina Gaucho, kina nani, unaona maisha yao dakika hii kidogo wamekuwa kwa siasa imebadilika kwa sababu ya ile hela wanapata katika hii siasa. Huyo mtu ukimwambia waache aache maandamano, anajua faida ya maandamano. Wewe hujui faida ya maandamano, yeye anajua faida ya maandamano. Kuna watu katika hii maandamano wamefaidika, wanalipwa pesa kukuja kwa mastesheni, wanalipwa pesa na wanasiasa, wanalipwa fedha na watu wengi kabisa. Niliona ndugu yangu Gaucho sahi anapeana basari ya over 300,000 na mtu yuko jobless. Nuru Okanga anakupatia basari, anakuambia pangeni line hapo niwapatie basari.
Unaona Okanga akiendesha Prado jamaa
So hebu niambie, huyo ni mtu unaweza mwambia ati atoke kwa hii mafuta? Hawezi mtoa kwa mafuta. Kwa hivyo siasa ni biashara, ni kama vita, ni biashara. Yeye yuko kwa mafuta bana, hawezi mtoa. Na sasa zile utatambia, ndio na maana kila maana wanakwambia baba, usiwache hii mambo ya maandamano, usiwache. Na kama utawacha, nipatie pesa niende mpaka wapi niandamane mimi peke yangu, nilete watu. Hivyo ndio wanaongea, kwa sababu ni ya ile hela inatoka na hii siasa. But what is the end game?
Unajua kama msimamo hata kwa hiyo nambari hapo kwa private chat
leta namba yako msimamo. Unaona what is the end game? Mwisho wa hii safari ni wapi? Mwisho wa safari ni wapi?
Usinipe namba yako kwa live chat, kwa public, nipe kwa private.
Pale kwa chat, weka kwa chat hapo.
Usiwahi pea namba yako public
So unaona pale Bwana Jex hapo, what is the end game?
Hapa kwa chat ndo mahali umeandika hapo, niweza tu reply
hapo. Mahali umeona namba yangu hapo ndo unaandika namba yako.
So mahali tumefika kisiasa, tumefika mwisho. Hawa wajamaa vigogo, ile kiti walikuwa nataka, ile bageni walikuwa nataka, msimamo wamewasukuma, hakuna kufika Ikulu. Tulianzisha na mambo ya kufika Ikulu na kina msimamo hapa. Tutastorm State House, tutoe RUTO nini, hiyo haiwezi fanyika. Haya, kuangalia kisheria, hata sava ikifunguliwa saa hii ati mwenye mbuzi mpatie mbuzi yake, hiyo haiwezi fanyika. Haya, tuliangalia vitu mingi. Haya, tuandamane, pengine Bwana RUTO atawacha serikali. Hakuna mtu atawacha serikali saa hii. Ile kitu iko ni watu wa Azimio wanaangalia, kwa hizi viti zimebaki kidogo, Bwana Rais unaweza tupatia gani? Nchi iendelee mbele, sisi tusahau mambo hii ingine. Hiyo tu ndio naangaliwa hapo, kwa sababu hizi vitu zote Bwana msimamo, kama ni bei ya chakula inaangaliwa bungeni, kama ni bei ya mafuta ni pale kwa bunge, kama ni sheria za IBC ni pale kwa bunge ndio lazima zitaenda. Watu wapende wasipende. Kama ni kurudisha watu kazi lazima uende kotini. So hizi ni vitu zingine, bado kuna sheria zile lazima kuna ma institution zile zina deal na hizo maneno. So lazima tuzingatie sheria, but the bottom line ni mtu anataka kuingia bargain na ile serikali iko ile nini atapewa. Saa zingine sio kiti, saa zingine ni wafuasi wake. Juu wewe bwana msimamo ulipromise watu wa Kwale ukipata hii kiti utaandika makazi, lakini sasa una kiti. Au masupporters wako utadili nao namna gani? So hao masupporters wao lazima uangalie vile utadili nao. Asanteni bwana.
Kuna Ashley vipi? Leo uko nyuma ya tent lakini sauti iko.
Okay, sorry. Niko pahali siwezi weka camera on.
That's why nimewaundia link ingine, naona mmejaja. Karibuni sana, poleni. Facebook can only accommodate for 8 hours, after which we have to refresh. Refresh here. Sorry for that hiccup. Facebook carries 8 hours, but YouTube can take so many more hours. But karibuni sana ambao mnajiunga nasi. Ashley, endelea, pole kwa hiyo pia.
Oh, no problem. Ngoja kidogo, my volume is low. Nilikuwa nataka kusema, I heard someone talking about vile wanasema, and I hate that Wakikuyu wanatumiwa sana. Karua anasema ati youth wa Kikuyu ndio wanapiga watu, and in that way she's making Kikuyus to be hated. And I cannot imagine how you can be from a certain ethnic tribe and then you're making that ethnic tribe to be hated, because if they are hated and something bad is done, you don't know whether it is your relative who will be the victim. So I can't believe what they are doing. And then Gachagua, as the vice president, is president for all tribes, and to say it is the Luo youth, also he shouldn't be saying that, because like now Mackenzie hakuna mtu anasema ni Mjaluo pastor. You see, so tribe in order to kuunganisha watu. And the only reason we have tribalism is Kenya is because our leaders are the ones who are using it as a weapon. Because sasa ukiangalia, if we are going to go on tribe, look at where this Pastor Ezekiel, wanamuita tu Pastor Ezekiel of this, they are not saying what his tribe is, because that is the agenda. When they see Kenzie, I don't even know what tribe he is, because that is the agenda. So, and that's what I said another time, that our leaders set the narrative for us. We need to flip the script where we set the narrative for what we want from them. Like now, for the 5 months that there was no Maandamano, there was nobody fighting, there was nobody going to the street, until Raila came and said, guess what? We need to go back because our election was stolen. Kwa hivyo unaona hii unrest, whether it is warranted or not.
Okay.
So they decide when to turn us on and then want to turn us off. But their leaders, we are the ones who are supposed to tell them that they are supposed to go there to represent us. We are supposed to be, sisi wenyewe as citizens, ni sisi tumechukua back seat when we should be at the front seat telling them what we want. And that's what you see, like, pali kama America, most of the times, the leaders do what the citizens want. President, kama sasa hivi Uhuru alikuwa hapo, he would have made sure he's making the Kikuyus, he's catering to their needs, not just appointing people, but even their specific issues in their areas, because he wants so that when he comes back to power, he has done things for them so that they can put him back. They just don't put you back because you belong, maybe you're white. No, you have to actually do things that favor them. And that is the thing, that even if tuta crucify you as Kikuyu, are we holding our Kikuyu leaders accountable? If you look at the 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote, Uhuru is not able to deliver. So then we are being crucified. Au ndio wanakula hizo manyama. Sisi tunakuwa basically for being their slaves, because all we do ni kuwapatia votes. That's alafu time ya kupigwa tunapigwa because tuliwaweka hapo. Hata watu wanasema wacha wateseke. Hata wateseke because hao ndio waliwapigwa. na tumewatambua tumepata nini. Tukiambiwa tukaane ndio tuingie tukue wengi ndio next time ati Wakikuyu wakiwa kirule, what has common Kikuyu benefited from having evidence? Even our counties, even though they are populated, when you look at how much money they are getting from counties that are not populated. So really, who is benefiting from the population? It is the leader. So when you think about the youth, how we can raise ourselves, and today in our WhatsApp, I suggested we help the people who have been affected. Let me tell you, we cannot have selfish, egocentric people who want to do only things when it benefits them and prosper as a country. We've become selfish, that you can only help someone you like, someone you know, and you have no compassion whatsoever for anybody else. And that is the problem. I cannot imagine if it was in another country, one of the ones with the developed democracy, Raila would be in so much trouble to still go on the street to talk about something that is not important right now. Because the most important now, our country is mourning that 400 lives are still missing. That is a tragedy. Everybody would have stopped what they are doing, and everybody would be working to see how to solve this problem and give aid to the families and give aid to the government to be able to resolve. Yani hii ni kitu iko supposed kutuleta all of us together despite our differences. Because in fact the most affected ni watu wa huko kwa kina nani Azimio. If you look at the demography. But we are so selfish. We say we are talking about politics. What is politics? Isn't politics supposed to make our lives better? So, ukifikiria, when Ms. Mama was talking, I thought, if all these youth had jobs, who would leave their job to go and throw stones? Who would leave their job to go and burn cars? So we have systematic poverty by design. Wanatoa kitu kama inaitwaje hii ya mtaani, kazi mtaani wameitoa, so the youth are idle. Wanaweza pewa pesa waende kwa uhuru and put themselves at risk. If they had jobs, who would they see to send? Who would they have when they wake up on a Monday? Yani, something should even ask them. Yani, it is a national tragedy that a leader can come on a Wednesday, aingie kwa market na kuwe a crowd. That means the level of unemployment is more than 90. Is it 90 even %? Because it's a crowd. You had asked people to come, and they know to go. They know where the people are, so they know that even it is not. Electoral justice, that is not the biggest thing in Kenya. It is unemployment. And these people know people in other countries, in worlds where they can even bring employment to our country, bring money, all this money that has been stolen. If it was recovered. Sasa, mbuzi za nani zimerikaviwa, why has money never been recovered, even a little of it? And we know some of the people who have the money. How are the goals? You see, we serve the rich. We serve the rich. Yani, mtu nini rich akinini, vitu zake zikiibiwa unaona zinaanza kufuatwa. They've recovered. They've never recovered even 1 cent. Yeah, COVID millionaires. They've never recovered hizi pesa zote zimeibiwa. Akina Gachagua wasisamehewa. Huyu Pastor Dorcas, she went on CNN and lied that the reason this street kids, and she was saying boys, but they are also girls, is because they live in single parent with single mothers, and they are going to the street to look for food for their single mothers. And she wants to build food for them to rehabilitate them. Do you know how foolish she looked? Anybody in America know that if your kid does not go to school, you will go to jail. Her answer was so redundant. The good thing with Americans or white people, they don't show you, they judge you. And I'm telling you, I switched off the TV. I didn't want to listen, but I'm telling you that lady judged her. He judged her. Because why is your child not in school? Imagine you'll go to jail. You will go to jail. So would he not be trying to reunite a child under 17 with their parent? instead of setting them schools to rehabilitate them, as who? Is that child's parent dead? Na ukiangalia all the kids I know, ukiangalia akina Gadhimiti, akina Karuruma, akina DJ Koraihoka, akina Nairobi something, Chokora, they all come from two-parent household. What is the main thing? Na kufanya ameanza foundation, she has not even done her homework. Because if you go to the streets, most street kids come from a two-parent household. The thing, it is the poverty, it is lack of employment that is taking them to the street. It's not because they come from single parents. Sasa huyo ni pastor anaenda kudanganya. So if she gets money from this, where she's going, even she's coming, she went to America, and went to states to ask even Kenyans to support her foundation. So if that foundation is able to bring, let's say, billions, do you think she will want to solve the problem or even make it larger so that the funds can continue coming in? As a government, as a spouse to a very powerful, to the second most powerful person in Kenya, don't you think she should do it inside the government, not aside as a side hustle? That is what is called conflict of interest. Because that can make her a trillionaire. And then she can make sure this problem doesn't go away if it is going to become the golden goose. So we see Pastor Ezekiel too anatumia kanisa and Christianity to make money. I would want you tomorrow to bring that clip yake 700 Club. Let us dissect it piece by piece and see how much. Yani ukisema umeokoka, let us see, not from you raising hand, not from kneeling, that is Pharisaic, because you're doing what walikuwa nasema kwa nia siombe in the closet, because the prayer is not to God, it is to you. It is to you, to brainwash you, so that whatever they do, you say they are Christians, because if they were doing it to God, they will do it in the closet and God will bless them in public. It is to you. That is, they are praying to you. That is why they are lifting their hands. That's why they are kneeling, like the Pharisees. Do you know what the Pharisees did? They went to the streets, they beat their hearts, and they prayed loudly so that everybody could know that they are prayerful. They are the people who won't tell you they fasted for 40 days, so that you can give praise and see them to be spiritual. Mtu spiritual, unamuona tu akona blessing, ako favored, lakini haujui the much time they spend in the eyes or in the presence of God. You just see them favored. But people who come and lift their hands, but when they start speaking, someone like RUTO abusing Raila, whatever their differences, Christians shouldn't do that. Christians don't lie. Like now, easy maandamano. Who can't see that easy nini frame? These are burning of cars. So how kwa hivyo wanaenda wanaomba Sunday, alafu wakianza, their lifestyle doesn't reflect the Christ that they claim to have in their hearts. So who are they fooling? See the acting. And then people say, oh, Christian to you, but their lifestyle does not reflect the Christ. Now, what we can do, we should be able to, like organizations, if we can make sure that slowly by slowly the youth are employed, even if we have to form NGOs. Let me tell you, if most of the youth are employed, if people who are outside, if people who can employ people, that most people are employed, they will lack people to go to those maandamanos paid. Nani ataitikia kulipwa when they have a job. So I think it starts with us being selfish. In helping, yani tusikue kama wanyama, ati unaweza ona mtu akiteseka hapo unasema shauri yake. And then what are you in politics for? Then you even if you are able to get that position yourself, you would be as bad or even worse than that person. Because one, you have to have empathy. You have to have empathy, because then what are you in politics for? You're in it for personal gain. Then what is the difference between you and the current politician? Anyway, so systematic poverty is the main problem ailing us. Because once we're able to solve that, I think we can unite and we can refuse to be divided on tribal lines. And once we get money in our pockets, we will make sure our children go to school. Once our children get education, it will be hard to lie to them. So that's what my suggestion is. We are a long way to go, because I see even some people, they're out of the country and they just think like the person in the village. Yet they have been exposed. They have seen how life is. They have seen other democracies, how they work, how they succeed, but they refuse to apply it to their own country. And we talk about best practices. I think it is good to take best practices from where we are, how those systems work, and try to take it to our home and put little by little until it also works, because it can work, but it will take the good of those who have opened their eyes to come and try to implement it. That's my subject.
Mboro, I see you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I had your camera. I don't know what happened to it.
Can you hear me?
We can, but we can't see you, bro.
Good. Yeah. Let me come back.
Sawa.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Last time when I was making the submission, I was in dark, but now I'm settled. I'm at home.
Sasa umekuwa nuru lakini sio kanga.
Yes. Before I proceed, I wanted to ask Ashley a question, if she's still there. Is it Ashley?
She is still there.
Ashley, I wanted some clarification, maybe in summary, to understand the concept of where the wife to the deputy president went wrong. And maybe tell us what is wrong with the foundation, because as I can remember, even Margaret Kenyatta had a foundation. Even Kalonzo Musyoka have a foundation. Most of the leaders, they have foundations to help their communities. She can as well decide, well, I'm not the one in power. I'll just sit at home and wait for the government to do whatever they're doing. But if she's stepping up and saying, I can also do something, I think we should commend her for that. So I'm here to understand what is her mistake exactly and what is wrong with raising money for a vision that she's having. Plus, have you taken time to find out if she has been having this foundation all along, or she has just started the foundation because the husband has become the deputy? Then I'll proceed from there.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm here. I would prefer if we have the clip and then you listen to the clip and then I can point out to you what is wrong.
700 Club.
Yes. The reason is when you use falsehoods to acquire money for a foundation, then that's already on a wrong foundation. So it is not bad to have a pet project. Melania Trump was working on bullying, cyberbullying for kids when she was first lady. It is not bad to have a foundation, but if she has had it even longer than before she was even the spouse of the deputy, then it is even worse, because she seems not to even understand whatever she's working on. When she goes and lies that the reason these children are on the streets is because they come from single mothers household, and those single mothers are poor, so they go to the street and she's saying boys, where we know they are also girls, and they go to the street trying to look for employment, and they can't get employment. So what she wants to do, that's why I say we need to listen to the clip so you can see how wrong it is. And even her resolution, what she wants to do is so wrong. So if she wants to do something in her level, she should have she should have a concrete. Someone like me can be excused for some of the mistakes she made, and someone who has had it for that long should be more researched on what they are doing, and they should be, that's what I said. In America, if you come and you say there are kids on the street, guess what? The first thing they want to know is where is the parent, and that parent is going to be held accountable. They will go to jail if their children don't go to school and they're under 17, unless you have permission. So So I want her to put the I didn't watch all of it because when she said that and then she said what she wants to do, I just switched the TV off. So I don't know what else she said, but I would like all of us to watch that clip. Then when we watch that clip, you might even not ask me another question, because she was saying she wants to start to rehabilitate them and then to start teaching them and, taking them to school. How can you take someone's kid to school? One, as a responsible civil servant or spouse of one thing you want to do is to return that kid to their parent to find out why they ran away from home. Make sure that if there is something if there is there is a problem with the home, like in the US, if there is homelessness in the home and the kid is in school, they will ensure they help that person find some sort of housing, whether it is a homeless shelter. So that is the things that the government can do. So she should be asking for funds to help into that, not her own personal organization, because like I said, there will be conflict of interest. So if the money is coming to her organization, so you don't know whether it's all going to the foundation, there is possibility that someone can want that problem to stay so that they can continue to get the stream of funds coming in. So that when she is the vice president's spouse, there would be a conflict of interest to do that. And the way she's looking for the money, she's lying about the nature. And the way she's wanting to resolve it is not even right, even to somebody listening to her. That's not the right way to fix that kind of a problem. But I would wish, if it is possible, if we have the clip, to put it.
Yeah, Jex will get maybe for us a clip.
I'm preparing.
Because actually, I am yet to see the mistake, because as far as I know, because I've been in Kenya and I have dealt with these chokoras so much. I have been feeding them and visiting them and talking to them. I am yet to be convinced that by saying some of these young people come from the single parents.
She didn't say some, she said they, like it's all of them. But that is not, she was asked, why are they on the streets? She was asked a question, but the reason they are on the street is not because they come from single parents. The reason they are on the street is because Kenya, the divide between the rich and the poor, which she belongs to the rich, is so high. So what is her government doing to bridge that gap? That is why I said some foundations, you can go and help the chokoras, but in her status, she should not be doing that as a side business, private, away from the government, because there is the temptation to have conflict of interest, where instead of making policies that help that in the government, you make those policies so that you can put money in your pocket. That is the danger that runs of her having that as a side, because that is a multi-million or billion-dollar project that can put money in her pocket.
Yes, I agree with you, Ashley, to some extent, because we don't know how the money that they get, how they account for the money.
The clip.
Okay, let's listen.
You have it?
And the vast majority are living on the streets. Kenya's second lady has made it her mission to rescue these young men. Well, a generation of boys in Kenya is at risk, and the vast majority are living on the streets. Kenya's second lady has made it her mission to rescue these young men and to train them to become the future leaders of the country. Wendy Griffith brings us the story.
When most people think of Kenya, they picture spotting the Big Five on safari or the wildebeest migration at Masai Mara, considered one of the 7 wonders of the world. For those who live there, it's a different story. That includes the country's second lady, Pastor Dorcas Ragathi. Her main goal, trying to rescue the thousands of young boys who have left the rural areas to find work in the cities, but end up on the streets.
Why are you focused on the boy child, as you say?
Currently, we have a crisis in Kenya where young men are in the streets taking drugs, taking alcohol, and they are dying in numbers. Millions have died in the last many years.
Ragathi says although Kenya is 85% Christian, and she, her husband, as well as the first couple are all believers, Satan is trying his best to infiltrate Kenya.
any time Satan wanted to destroy a nation, he went for the boy child. We may not look at it and see it as a satanic move, but it is. There is no way we can have the seed carrier in the gutter. And on the other side, we have women who are well-resourced, well-educated, and we have a boy who is directionless and is dying out in the streets.
Why are they in the streets?
They are from single parenthood, and they are coming so that they can be able to make a living for their own mothers.
But when these young men come to the cities like Nairobi, getting a job is not guaranteed.
And they get themselves now frustrated because they do not have housing, they do not have money, they are not in employment, in any sort of employment. And because they're not able to get money, or they don't have access to food and all that, they start taking glue. Some of them now are hard drug addicts, and many of them are dying from HIV and AIDS because of the syringes.
And when the boys are at their most vulnerable, Reganthi says they are often used as drug runners and vendors.
That is the reason I feel, as a mother, we need to rescue the boy child from this menace of this drug balance, and also to move them from the streets.
Reganthi's dream is the creation of a multifaceted that would provide these boys a medical rehab facility with Christian counseling, a vocational training center to teach different skills, and a sports academy.
So that those who want to do sports, they can get engaged there to redirect their energy to something that is more fruitful.
And this is precisely why Her Excellency is in the United States, seeking financial support so she can help the young boys of Kenya, starting with the sports academy.
We know God has called us to be able to reach out to those boys. And when I look at them, I see the future child.
Reganthi knows there's a fierce spiritual battle for their country's future. She also believes the same God who saved her and her young siblings from once living in an outdoor chicken pen can rescue Kenya's young men.
So that is why you see, I can feel the heartbeat of the street children, because I've been there. I know how to be without food. I know how to be without clothes. And it was so cold that one of my sisters died of pneumonia. My mother prayed for us. My mother's of power, authority over us. So she told us, don't worry. When your father is not there and you are children of the widow, your Father in heaven will see you through.
Pastor Dorcas Reganthi believes she is in the palace for such a time as this, to rescue Kenya's boys from the streets, to love them, and to teach them that with God, there are no limits. He can take them from the pit to the palace, and she has her own story to prove it. Wendy Griffith, CBN News.
It's wonderful, and it's scripture.
Hapo wamewekelea shetani, because the problem is not the devil. The problem is the poverty that they have caused by overpaying the leaders and not giving enough jobs to the people. Because if they put school buses so that our kids are secure going to school, they will create jobs for drivers. If they give food in the schools, if they cut their salary up there, they can be able to feed the kids. They'll be able to employ cooks. There's so many ways that Kenya can make money so that the parents can have money. And before you start putting kids in complexes, you should be trying to unite them as a first priority. So, any question?
No, I just want to make
I have a lot, but some I think
I have a lot I can say about that. But according to me, that's a noble idea, because for a long time, many organizations and people have been focusing on the girl child and women. That's why, apart from the fact that we have men as members of parliament who represent all people, on the side, we have somebody representing women in the same county. And many people, because girls are vulnerable to many things, they have been focusing on the girl child. As a result, our young boys have gotten into problems and destruction and drugs and so many other things. So just as I said, this is somebody who has been working for community for a long time. I don't think Dorcas Gachagua and the family, they are poor people. Maybe to make a conclusion that that's why she's a pastor. No. The husband has been...
No, you guys, you're losing the plot of the story. But
No. What I'm trying to say is that... Please,
it's not about the boy child, the street children and
please.
But I won't comment on that.
Let me leave that topic for now. But what I wanted to say...
Msimamo unadai vipi?
Wacha niende kidogo kwa sababu unaona ni time ya kwenda kutafuta unga. Unajua unaambiwa kukicha kumekucha, na kama ni maskini basi sharti upambane na mtaji wa maskini. Tunaelewa kwamba ni nguvu zake mwenyewe, sio itabidi nikapambane na hali watoto jioni wa maki. Japo kulikuwa na conversation hapo, lakini mtaniruhusu at least niende nikimbie sasa kwenda kutafuta unga mapema, maana unaambiwa early the better. Ndege yule the early bird always catches the worm. Wazungu wanasema hivyo, sio mzalendo atasemaje kama kizungu ndicho hicho, lakini naona niwaache the way mnang'ang'ana hapo na Rigathi Gachagua na bibi yake. Ndio
watu wameleta
tetea, lakini nimalizie tu kwa kusema hivi, samaki mkubwa siku zote ndo alaye mdogo. Samaki mkubwa siku zote ndo alaye mdogo. Na Kenya hii mwenye nacho ndo anaumiza asiokuwa nacho, ambaye ni Mkenya mnyonge. Kwa hivyo Mkenya mnyonge atabaki kuwa mnyonge ili kusudi tu mwenye nacho aweze naye kumtumia. Sawia na pasta tu, atamtumia muumini tu wake kuweza kumfaidisha yeye, kuwa na magari yakipita huku muumini akijazwa tamaa za kwamba na mimi siku moja nitamfikia pasta wangu ama mchungaji wangu, lakini ndoto ya mchana. So ndio siasa tuko nayo Kenya, na ndio jina la Mungu na vitabu vilivyopelekwa hapo. Kwa hivyo tuko kwenye crisis. Ni Wakenya wanyonge sasa, tufungamane, tuandamane, tuzungumze ukweli, na maandamano ndio dili. Haya akifungwa basi anafunga sauti ya wanyonge, si masuala na Raila. So maandamano ni ya Mkenya mnyonge kuweza kulitambua kulikomboa taifa lake. Hapo ndo nitakwamia hapo. Wala tusiaeke kwa Raila Odinga na kuzima sauti ya mnyonge, aweze kunyolewa tu na aweze kutumika tu na aweze kukandamizwa tu, huko akishindwa kumpeleka mtoto wake shule kwa ada ziko juu, huko akishindwa na kupata mahuduma safi katika hospitali, huko akishindwa na kupata huduma safi katika masuala mazima na barabara, huko akibangana na maisha ikiwa hasa sarafu yake inazidi kudidimia, huko bei ya vyakula na bei za muhimu zilikuwa zimepanda juu. Ni vitu tunafaa kuviangalia. Chanzo chake ni uongozi mbaya, na lazima tumalizane na uongozi mbaya kwa kitu tunamisa viongozi wenye nia ya Kenya, wala si nia ya kibinafsi ya kujibundikiza mali. Asanteni.
Unajua tu shida ya watu wenye wanaongeanga Kiswahili fluent inakuwa moja. Sometimes unapoteanga hapo katikati, but ni sawa. Mzalendo, I want to ask you to ask just one moment.
Can I make my submission? I've been
just one moment.
Made any submission so far.
Just one moment.
Yes.
I want to leave you guys in the hands of Mzalendo. I've been seated here for the last 8 hours and a half. Jua imenikuta ili
that's a blessing.
Before we end, since you want to give to Mzalendo, can you comment on that video?
I'll give you a call so that I don't make my submissions public. Is it okay? I think we had started it, but I never listened to it as I've listened to it now, and it has raised both positive and negative issues.
I don't see. For me, I don't see any negative. That's a noble idea.
Negative is there in this sense. Did we have to reach that? I agree with some parts of what Ashley is saying. Did we have to because when you look at the clip, you know, they will always show the very bad part. Did we have to have our boys and young men go to such levels? Because after demos, you'll find they're the ones on the front row. After those who die first, you'll hear they are young men. So I was even shocked. Qualistia Mackenzie, Pia, and a number of young men have passed on. So the boy child is at risk. So that's a negative. And about the initiative of the pastor and what she stands for, her reasoning and her argument why she does what she's doing can be looked at two sides. One, as much as I know I'll talk to Ashley Scandal, I think Mina is a younger in this element. Maybe it was a question of the moment. Elon Ulizangwa to pap, and maybe that was what was on top of her mind. Not that I'm defending her, but then again, that's one of the reasons. It could be maybe the many she has encountered, because at times someone talks from what she knows. Maybe the many boys she has encountered, probably that's their story. And maybe she was talking from that. Not that I know what she was basing her arguments from. The other thing I would want to think she was trying to do, she was trying to create a sad or an emotion to continue to push, you know, so that her story can be felt, you know, because the question was quite clear. Why do you think that's happening?
And she lied, and she's a Christian. That's what I have a problem with. As a Christian, you should.
I wouldn't term it a lie. I would.
The reason it is a lie is because the reason they're on the street, and I can bring you even 5 chokoras here to tell you. Actually, I'll try and get one of these days, because I have connection to them. Akuja waambie what percentage of them do not have from single parents. Most of them are from 2-parent household. The main thing, the ones who have gone back home, and they're even on YouTube, nyumba zao, they are very, very poor. So to take kids and open for them a sports center is not the answer. It is to reunite them with their families. Their government needs to create jobs, so that with the demarcation between the rich and the poor, atuna middle class, we need to create a middle class, so that the middle class is these people who will rise up, so that they can also have money and people can take their children to school. Do you know this year how many people have not gone back to school because of high cost of living, because of lack of school fees? That is something her government can solve. They don't need to go to Wazungu to ask them for funds to open a sports center. They are running away from the real issue, and that is my problem for a person that high to not understand what the problem is, because they don't.
Actually, I would like to ask you a question.
Margaret
Kenyatta was having.
Can I now
just
go,
a minute?
A
simple question, which is coming in my mind. Margaret Kenyatta was having an initiative whereby a foundation where she was dealing with saving the pregnant mothers. What do you think about that? Yet we have the government and the hospitals and all.
What I'm saying, she misrepresented. She was asked, why are they on the street? I'm not going to discuss anymore. Everybody has a mind. I think you're very intelligent, and you don't have to defend the indefensible. I will not talk about it anymore. Everybody has seen that video. It is up to you to decide. But when I saw it, I saw that she is not sincere. As a pastor, for her to, if I can catch on that small fib, then I had her worth and her Christianity to me, then I don't trust her. If I can catch her on that small
okay.
But actually, if I ask you correctly, the clip is long. It's a 5 minutes clip, and it only took 30 seconds for you to give your understanding and your conclusion.
She also went to Ohio, and I have a clip which I'll bring tomorrow. And she went to Ohio on that trip. Before she went to 700 Club, she had gone to Ohio for the same reason. And the people there, the people who sent me the clip, complained about the same thing. So that was something I had to talk to someone about. And then I saw it on the 700 Club. And I have the clip. And even the way she's talking about it, there is a problem. But anyway, I'm not going to, let's be left up to the opinions. But if we our country to improve. We have to be true. We have to be honest. We cannot defend people who are making mistakes, because the reason our country, and that's what we said, even those youth that are going to be misused is because they are jobless. So the problem is joblessness.
I am careful because of several reasons. One, she has been a deputy president's wife for only 6 months. Number two, the program she was talking about, I listened to her, I think on Sunday. Was it on Sunday? She was in Kajiado. Was it on Saturday or on Friday? I'm not sure. But last week she was in Kajiado, and she has a program. She does have a program, and they have used family resources and also part of their land to build a rescue center, not just for these men, even for the widows. So her story.
Let's be focused. Don't start saying what she has. We are talking about the street kids. Don't tell me anything else. If she can lie about the street kids, please let's not open it up to. Don't open it up, because
I think Jakes, you guys are you're losing the point. Because for me, I think she has taken an initiative to help the boy child. That is the most important part. Nobody has done that before, whether she's doing a wrong thing or the right thing. This is something that is very, very new to us. Let us wait. We can interrogate her when she has failed in the quest. But it is not something that Ashley, you have taken an initiative to do. You can do it as a private citizen and help the girls and the boys who are on the streets.
Don't say things you don't.
You
don't know what I have done or not done. So don't say what
I am just saying. I'm just saying, for a leader in our status.
I have not taken initiative. I told you, and I'm not going to come here. I'm not a leader, and you don't know what I have done. So just
so for us to bring her down for what she has done, she's trying to do. I think it is a wrong argument, and that's why she had to go, because.
No, she's still there. She's there. No, my submission is this. Understand?
That is your problem. You say things you don't know, and that is what I'm telling you. Stick to the facts. When I talk, I stick to the facts. That's my opinion.
You see where your facts are wrong. You see, first ladies and second ladies have got projects that they feel dear to their hearts. To their hearts, all right? Everybody has got a feeling that this is what I want to do as a first lady. This is what I want to rescue the boy child. How she does it, she has taken the initiative.
That's noble.
Yeah,
it is noble. I'm not refuting that part. It is noble. What I'm refuting
it's for a good cause, yeah?
The fibs. And I'll let the rest there. But when you speak, try and stay factual. Don't start saying things you think and then you apply them to be factual, like saying, oh, she's left and I've not left. You say, oh, she doesn't help.
But I've seen you drop. I don't see you anymore. I was seeing you before.
Just a moment.
That's the reason why I'm saying that, and you don't want people to interrogate the issue. And you've brought the clip.
I want to change the topic because I want to leave. And as well, I was not even allowed. And that's why the challenge in Akwanga. When you want to give a submission and then Makato and then I feel Mboro's pain at times. So I even didn't finish my submissions because you asked me what were my views, but I'll definitely take it even a notch when you have a call. But my thinking, because everyone, as Ashley rightfully says, everyone is entitled to their opinion. My thinking is, and as Mzalendo equally says, she's doing something. Maybe because she might not be as perfect as would want her to be. She might not have the right words maybe to explain what is in her heart. Maybe she was caught red-foot on a topic that maybe that's the much she knows. You have your version. Maybe me, I have a version of some of these children run from their homes willingly. Willingly, like they are naughty. I know like two who eventually turned and they became good children. But I know children who have fled from their homes and chose to be street urchins, not because their family is poor. In fact, some people look for these children for so many years because they can move from maybe that child's home was in Mombasa, akaingia kwa basi. So the parent always looks for this baby or this boy or this girl. They are there in the streets. I can tell you. So depending on who you talk to, they will all have a story. Some are believable, some are not believable. But by the end of the day, when you'll be asked, if I'll be asked, I'll tell you from my angle. Maybe that's her angle. I'll not be quick to judge her from her angle. And that's why I'm saying I agree with you, Ashley, in this element that it's not good to judge because you don't know the facts. Maybe from her fact, that's what has informed her decisions. Maybe that's what has informed her argument. I don't know. Maybe she needed to be asked why she had to say what she said. Maybe she needs to maybe expound more. I don't know. But for me and how I see it, her initiative, the clip is 5 minutes, and she speaks over the boy child, and you even see man says things that you're not seeing as a man. I had never looked at another man from that angle that seriously the boy child needs rescuing. That's how I saw. Just looking at that clip, that's what I felt. Before even I went to question and judge the one statement, I still looked at the bigger picture, because at times look at the bigger picture. The nitty-gritties at times might not really add up, but that element of trying to help.
So Jake,
if she's able to help one man, despite all the money she gets, and she saves one man from the streets and that man becomes anything in life, to me, it's more than anything.
So
because
let me ask you.
Yeah, at times Christ goes for the one, not the 99, the one.
So is the problem the devil or poverty?
It's peanut butter, depending on.
Are you depending on the devil or
the devil? Actually, you are right and wrong. You are right and wrong. So, just as Jake has explained to you, the people in the streets, they are there for different reasons. Some come from very affluent families, and they leave home because they want to be in the streets.
I want to even read a comment here.
And some of them is because of the drug.
There's a comment here. Someone is saying this. Some of them run to the streets because in the streets, they have a sense of independence. Back at home, they have everything, but they feel restricted because they are told what to do. So these street children, there are many in the streets. It's not just one. You might have encountered several, but there are many. And some are even orphans, for crying out loud. They have no parent. And maybe the people who are to adapt them or to take care of them when their parents died, maybe were hostels. The auntie was bad. The uncle was bad. So what do? You decide to take the high route and go to the stories are sick.
Yeah, I think we are all.
Yeah, so you see, at the end of the day, when we interrogate the statement, we get the right answer. You see, where will you be taking them back to?
Ashley is also right. I think this is what I think. What she's saying is that she was not able to elaborate all the issues or the factors that cause our young boys to be on the streets. And I think to that extent, she only gave one point.
And do you know there are even girls there, and some some even go there. They might one another.
Yeah, that was exactly my point. And I think more than them saying that the devil has come, the devil that has come is those public servants who are stealing the taxes that we are paying, that we don't have resources to channel to these areas, to the child department, so that this issue can be solved. There should be very few kids on the streets, because the government should be able to follow up on parents whose kids are on the street. And then we get approved schools we can take, those ones who are naughty to the approved schools, but most of them, we should work on reuniting with the family. So I think she did not articulate herself, or she's not serious with the project, because she has all the resources to get all the help she needs in order to come up with an articulate and a good business plan before she starts the foundation. But that's my opinion, and I will not discuss it further.
Thank you.
Okay. I can request you as well to so that this gentleman was Skype peke yao, washi tu camera. The reflection will
Yes,
help.
Actually, come and be with
Because
us.
when I leave, yeah, that reflection will help. Because me, when I drop like this, you remain like that. So, gentlemen and wonderful lady Ashley, allow me to leave if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, Jakes. But we are
Actually,
hoping
you're
that,
okay with that? Because I've been here for 9 hours. I think I even deserve a medal from you guys.
We need that to give you some handshake. You know, it's a handshake.
Sitting allowance, bwana, eh? Boro was coming.
But on a serious note, she's doing a good noble thing, but I wish she'd do it the right way. So I do support what she's doing, but I wish it would be entrenched in government so that, because when one person does it, it's like a drop in the ocean. But when it's a government agenda, it's going to help a lot of them. And if she can get experts in that field that will give her ideas, it will be a more effective, whatever she wants to do. And not just the boy child. She should either, okay, she wants to do the boy child, but there are also street children who are girls on the street. And I do support that noble reason of her helping them. But the way she's going about it makes me think it is just a way to get money for themselves. That's what I thought. And that's what offended me. The fact that she says she's a pastor, knowing that these days people are starting churches to get rich. Most of them.
It is good. It is good that actually you have spoken about it, and maybe somebody somewhere is listening to you, and somehow she might get what you have said, and somehow she might decide to update what she's doing. So, and that's a good topic, because most of the time we talk a lot of politics, and that one has helped us to refresh our mind and at least deviate away from politics a little bit. Mzalendo, is it okay if I bring back the politics?
Before I forget, allow me to do this. Guys who are watching, thank you so much for keeping tuned. You guys have been wonderful. John, Halifa, Gitash, and many who are continuing to watch. Thank you for sitting with us. This 9 hours and going on. These able gentlemen and lady are able to take and carry you over to the next level of listening to awesome conversations here. But if you wish to join, the link is coming in. I don't know, Mzalendo mengi umelogin ukitumia laptop ama simu. Sorry, umejimute.
My phone.
Kwa hivyo huwezi add mtu.
I can't add. I don't know how. I can't add anybody.
Okay, sawa. Let me post it there. I'll try to have the laptop close to me. If anyone wants to join you guys, I'll be able to add them. But allow me to at least take a breather. Is it okay? But thank you so much. You guys are just amazing. Asanteni tu sana. We do this tonight again from 10 p.m. But I'm just taking na ile mate ya nitangwaje, this guy wa Citizen anameza donge la maji and all. Forget what he says.
Tumbler ya maji.
There's something he says, swale mdoe. That what he says, that's what I want to do. Kope la maji. Okay.
Whatever it is. We said something wrong, I think so. Kope la maji.
So link ndoyo, if you want to join them, the link is there. Mutembei official, Mutembei Facebook, Mutembei YouTube, Mutembei TV. Those 4 links, if you touch any of the above, those ni kopo la maji. Asante sana John Khalifa. Asante kwa kuzidi kutuma ujumbe. If you want to join these able guys kwa studio, that's the link you use. Inakutuma StreamYard, unaasha camera, mic na jina yako. Si lazima iwe jina rasmi. Mzalendo hata itangi Mzalendo, by the way. He has a very nice name starting with the letter N. But anyway, sita mwaga mtama. The only person that maybe, probably, I'm not sure, anatumia jina yake ni mimi na Geoffrey Mboro. You are a truthful man. He's another truthful man, just like just like our able. Let me do this. Let me put this kwa my profile hapo, so at least mbaki hivyo. Is it okay?
No problem.
Yes, but I'll be backstage. Thank you so much, and that's how I sign out. Bye bye. God bless you.
And James, I wanted to ask a question before you leave. Okay. I think the way we used to have this platform in a way that even when you don't want to be seen, your picture can still be on the screen. I think it used to work a little more better than when we cannot see the speaker who is on audio.
The settings too, I don't know what I did or Mutembei did. We will find out. We will work on that one so that when but pia hiyo ina discourage mtu kuwa kwa audio, ndio unaona pia inasaidia mtu aje aeke at least something ndio ukwe kwa screen. It's also good.
Sometimes we want to make submissions when we are not on the, but when people cannot, at least even if having that profile there, it means something. You feel like you're in the show.
You're in the show.
Yeah. You can think about that. So
I'll try. Maybe before the end of the day or the week, I'll have had the solution. I know ni settings too. Ni kwa settings. There's not.
Yes, with the permission of now the new chair, Mr. Mzalendo. Can I introduce some politics?
Yes, Bana Jeff Mburu. I know you've been in the cold for a while, and
yes, today I was a little bit busy,
now,
but I was actually following everything that was going on.
Yeah, you can now introduce your submission.
Yeah, when I was
Is that
listening,
one okay if I leave it like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it okay, Mzalendo? Are you okay if I leave it?
The face off. Hizo vitu bwana, wacha tuongee tu. Hizo ni sura zinatu zingine zina. Wacha for now. Okay, you can leave it. You can just leave it.
I think it's fine. It's fine.
It is just fine. It informs our discussion. It forms our discussion.
So, Mzalendo, I have heard the panelists, some of them saying that the support that the government of Kenya Kwanza is getting from other parties shows that the president is trying to take us back to one party state and trying to kill other parties, which is against the spirit of our constitution and democracy. And I was thinking and contemplating about that, and I had a different or contrary opinion, because I think when people say that they are supporting the president, does not necessarily mean that they abandon their parties. And I haven't heard anybody say that they are going to close their parties because they want to work with the government. After all, after the government has been sworn in, it ceases to be a government of a certain group of people who voted. It becomes the government of Kenya. People may have different opinions or differ in their way of reasoning and thinking, and differences in ideologies, but I don't see any problem if today anybody says I am supporting the government, the project of the government, and what the government is doing, regardless of which party you come from. Even here, we have seen sometimes senators, Republicans, voting together with the Democrats. What's wrong with that? And also, in addition, Mzalendo, it is not a must that we have million parties so that we can be seen to be a democratic nation. How many parties do we have in America that are strong and that can make critical decisions? We only have Republicans and Democrats. And we say that America is a citadel of democracy. So what is wrong if people say in Kenya we have Azimio and we have Kenya Kwanza? I don't see any problem. And I don't see why people are saying when somebody says, I'm going to work with the president, Dr. William Ruto, that person has been bought. Yet you cannot prove, you cannot show us why you think that the people who are supporting Ruto have been bought, but the people who are supporting Azimio, they have not been bought. As I said last time here, if it comes to the issue of financial muscle, the Azimio team is more stronger, maybe 20 times stronger than Kenya Kwanza team. Because when you think of somebody like Uhuru Kenyatta is a financial heavyweight. When you think of somebody like Gideon Moi, is extremely rich. When you think of somebody like Raila Odinga, is extremely rich. If we are to talk about people being bought, the people who have the ability to buy people are in Azimio. But having said that, I want to take you back to during the time of the electioneering period. And I tell you that many people who supported Azimio, many of them, many of those leaders, and you have heard them come out openly and talking in the public, they said, especially the governors, they were coerced to be there. It was by force, by fire. You must support Raila Odinga. Failure to which we are going to open a case for you. You are going to be in trouble. And you know, when you are a governor, you handle a lot of money. You handle a lot of resources. If the government is looking for mistakes, they will always see or find a mistake. That is one of the reasons why now they feel like we were forced, but now we have the freedom to go or to support the person we wanted to support. The other thing is because many people were made to believe that when you are the incumbent president, you have the system, you have the deep state, you have everything that it takes to determine who becomes the president. And that is why when Uhuru Kenyatta declared that I'm supporting Raila Odinga, everybody believed that he must become the president. And that even made them to relax. They did not campaign as much as they were supposed to campaign. After all, they had or they were given what they believed was making Raila not become the president. So let nobody say that Ruto is killing democracy. I don't believe it. And it's just things that people are just throwing there to show like the president we have is not the right person.
Can I interject?
Yes.
So I wanted to support you. If you remember before the election, Uhuru bought or got all these small parties and added them to Jubilee because Jubilee had become a shell. So the people who defected after the election, actually people Uhuru had put hadn't even been 3 months. Those small parties he had got together because he thought they were going to win. And you know, the person with the majority was going to be, I think he wanted to have muscle so that when they start doing BBI and there is election, he will win because of the small parties he had put together. Just before the election, he put almost 20 parties. So what I think is that Azimio or ODM is being hypocritical because at that time when Uhuru was doing that, they did not complain. And the thing that Ruto is doing is exactly same thing Uhuru did before the election. He got all these coerced some, forced some, which Ruto is not doing. And then the rest, I don't know whether he bought them. But those parties that have now defected to Kenya Kwanza were actually just right before the election, Uhuru brought them to Jubilee as affiliates of Jubilee. So when they say that Ruto is trying to kill and return us to the dark days, it is just politics. Because even when they were doing BBI, they brought all of them together and then they started saying nobody is with Ruto. Ruto is by himself. So what they also trying to take us back to the dark days when they were doing BBI because they bought Kalonzo, even Mudavadi, even Wentangula, they were all in one group. And Raila was by himself. I mean, Ruto was by himself. And they were saying, so you see, nobody can work with him. They wanted to isolate him. So I don't understand how now they are complaining that he's poaching. Well, before the election, Uhuru was poaching, and they didn't say anything. So that's what I want.
And I'm very sure, Ashley, if Raila Odinga became the president, he was going to poach some people to support him because he wanted the bills to pass and all that. Mzalendo, maybe you saw how many times people voted, the congressmen and women voted here when they were trying to get a speaker. There was a lot of lobbying going on before they could now agree that now we have a speaker. They voted so many times. That is why that lobbying is very important. RUTO is very good at persuading people. When he is talking to other leaders, he does not use force. He is not arrogant to them. He persuades them. And I think that is the best gift that RUTO has, that he is able to convince people. Can you imagine how he convinced Musalia Mudavadi to drop Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga and join his team? Can you imagine how he convinced Wetangula to leave Raila Odinga and join him? And I came here in Zarendo TV and I asked, what miracle do you expect to happen after Raila has been left by a heavyweight, Muzarendo, a heavyweight like Musalia Mudavadi? What miracle was he expecting to perform when he was not having somebody like Aisha Jumwa? So outrightly, and I want to tell people here, Raila knows very well, if he did his job, his campaign very well, he would be the president. But he relaxed because he was made to believe by Uhuru Kenyatta that everything was in order. Mzalendo, are you in the show? Sorry?
I am very much in the show, and I am following. And
good.
I am following all your points.
There is the way you are staying. I thought you are sleeping. Totally sleeping.
No. Everybody, you know, sometimes it's like Alex always accuses me. They think that I'm sleeping. I am in the show. I have been following you. I've been following the conversation.
So,
what you are
I want
saying.
you. Yes, I want now to see you as somebody on the Azimio side, because now we are two of us. There must be one opposing and another supporting. What do you think of the win? This win, Raila says, we have to scrutinize and say, surely, based on how things were. Do you think really, genuinely, what he is saying that he won? Because for me, I tried and I came here. You know, Mzaredo, for me, I don't fear telling people the truth. I came here on the TV when almost everybody was supporting Raila Odinga here on this TV. And I said, I don't see the way Raila is going to defeat RUTO. And they said, no, you don't know what you're saying. We have deep state. We have the Kikuyu elders. People counted things here. And I told them, you don't know what you're saying.
I think, Banamburu, this issue of Raila winning, at some point, I have a feeling that he won the elections because he cannot just decide that, in an election that he lost, he cannot just wake up and say, I actually won the elections after he has been declared the loser and all that. Perhaps, in my other thought, is that there is something that the Kenya Kwanza government know that they did to deny Raila Odinga his victory. That is my
and it is good because that now makes the debate.
That is now what makes us debate whether whatever Raila is saying is true or false. But why I tend to believe that whatever he's saying is true is that Kenya Kwanza have not interrogated Raila's figures. They have sat back and they have not put question marks into whatever Raila is saying. Yeah, instead, they have
know why they are not doing that?
Just wait a minute,
Yes.
Boro. They have said they are inviting Raila Odinga to the table to have a conversation. What are they going to talk about on this particular table? If you are not guilty, yeah, of stealing the votes or doing whatever Raila Odinga is accusing you of, why are you inviting him to have a peaceful negotiation? Why are you inviting the same guy to have a peaceful negotiation? And why are you not questioning the figures that Raila is floating out there? Because you have got the power, you have got the capacity to interrogate these figures and tell us exactly what happened in these elections. Yeah.
Mzalendo, if you are the president or any person in politics in Kenya, would you say, because Raila Odinga has come with some figures, we are going to interrogate the figures that he's having, then after interrogation, where do you take them?
You see,
Kenya Kwanza is not answering to the figures of the whistleblower, because Mzalendo, you know very well, this is my thinking, that there is nobody who can prove whether Azimio has whistleblower or not. Nobody can interrogate that kind of a process. Nobody can tell us what they are saying is true or false. Because even me today, I can say I'm a whistleblower. And I come up with some figures. And I say this is what RUTO got. But by saying that there is a whistleblower, does that statement become authentic? That is why you don't have to engage in exercise in futility. How can a serious government discuss an issue of a whistleblower? Mzalendo, seriously. I want to charge my computer here. I don't know why it's not charging.
Yes, as you charge it.
Yes.
I think the issue of the whistleblower came as an I look at it in as an afterthought. This is something that Azimio planned and executed so well, but did it really serve the purpose that they wanted? Yes, the introduction of the whistleblower served the purpose that the Azimio brigade were looking for. So the Azimio brigade initially doubted the Supreme Court ruling. You know, it started with the Supreme Court ruling that the wordings were not judicial. Then it came to Chebukati. Yeah. Then now it came to the it came to the Cherera 4, then to the whistleblower. So there have been 3 phases into their kind of allegations. Yes, we didn't like the Supreme Court ruling. The language was not very good for us. Then the Cherera 4, I mean, they had got how can 4 commissioners, you know, disagree with the results? There must be something or some issue in it. And then there was the whistleblower who is supposedly be working with the IBC. But Jeff, what I always say is that the people who would have answered the question of theft in IBC are the Cherera 4. they had the best opportunity to tell us what really happened. For us, we can just speculate. We will speculate, we will use words, but at the end of the day, the people who would have educated us on the process or what they thought was stolen were the Cherera 4 and the Azimio agents, who I think are nowhere. I've never heard about them. I've never heard about the Cherera 4 coming out and telling us, you know, this is what happened in this election. But they were given an opportunity even in parliament, but they opted to resign. Now, that
because
is all.
They were not competent.
That is
Some of those people were not even in a position to lead.
That is why,
statement.
that is the question mark. That is the question mark I gave, you know, that they had the opportunity to tell us the truth without taking sides and be sincere and swear with the Bible that whatever they are going to say is nothing but the truth. But they opted to resign. Do you know those people opted to resign and they were never sacked? They resigned from their jobs, but Azimio keep on saying that they resigned.
But so we say the guilty are always afraid. They knew that they were there to serve the purpose of one side, and they also knew, especially some of them, that they lacked the competence even to defend themselves before the court. They, you know, I don't want even to go there. Let me just go back to the so that I don't become personal and feel like I've attacked some people. Do you know, Mzalendo, that many Kenyans are not aware that the evidence of a whistleblower cannot be tabled in any court or admitted in any court of law anywhere in the world unless this whistleblower comes out and says, here I am the one who has done scrutiny following this process, and this is what I know. But talking of a whistleblower who is hidden somewhere, of which anybody can lie and say, I have a whistleblower, I have gotten some evidence. But Kenyans are not telling Raila Odinga, let that whistleblower come out. What is wrong with somebody coming out and telling us how he did the hacking and all that? First of all, even hacking is illegal. Not only that, Mzalendo's Smartmatic is an international, reputable, organized, well-known organization. None of those people, or we have not had a report purporting that the Smartmatic systems have been hacked. It's not easy. It is not easy to hack Smartmatic system, which conducts global elections. Smartmatic was the company contracted to conduct even the elections here in America. Now you are telling us that you have an expert somewhere who somehow entered in the systems of Smartmatic, but up to now they are not aware that their systems were hacked. For me, I want to believe there is no whistleblower anywhere. Raila Odinga is operating on this trick. In the Supreme Court, when the IEBC were asked about the issue of, because they gave some lead alone access to the servers, when they were asked if they can open the server further and or give the permission that the Azimio are asking for, Smartmatic gave a copy of the contract that according to the agreement between the IEBC and this company, we cannot give you access beyond what we have given you, which actually even when whatever you are doing, you enter into an agreement. Raila Odinga at the back of his mind knows that whatever I am asking is something that is not going to happen. But because I want to make sure these people agree or succumb to my demand, I must keep on talking of the issue of the server. Which server he is saying he has opened. If you have already opened the server, which other server do you want to open and why? So that's just a game. It's just a game for him to to be heard and to be given what he wants. Nobody knows exactly when they're sitting down there, and I wish those the discussion they're having, I wish they can bring it on the national television and everybody listen, because these are our leaders after all. Everybody listen to what they're talking. Everybody listen to what they're saying. That is the only way we can know that these people are genuine. The problem we are in right now, it started when Uhuru Kenyatta went somewhere, just the two of them. I don't know whether they thought now the nation of Kenya, you know, everything is about Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. They discussed whatever they discussed, two people, and they never told another person, this is the agreement we have agreed with Raila Odinga. That is why we have decided to work like this. And that is when Uhuru parted ways with all other leaders, because government does not belong to one person. Opposition is not just Raila Odinga. That is why there was mistrust with the Kina Musalia team, and they decided to leave. That is why you saw so many people leaving Uhuru, because everything is supposed to be seen, to be open, to be transparent. And even if you are the leader, you must respect others who have supported you. That is what I feel strongly in me, that even the debates we are having, we need to know exactly what are they talking about. Are they still talking about Uga? Are they still talking about Sava? What are they exactly discussing in those discussions? Having said that, Muzalendo, just one more point so that you can maybe say something.
Ashley, are you still there? Ashley is there.
No, Ashley is there.
Hello, I'm here.
Okay.
But someone brought the game, so it will be 2 minutes before I can contribute.
All right, thank you.
Muzalendo, I have heard people talk about the illegitimacy of the government of William Samoei Ruto. And I had talked about it before. And I said for the government to be legitimate, the government does not become legitimate because Muzalendo has said it is legitimate, or because Geoffrey has said it is legitimate. The government becomes legitimate when all the processes stipulated in the constitution has been followed. In this case, Ruto presented himself as a candidate. He was appointed or chosen by the UDA as a candidate. Then he became a candidate of Kenya Kwanza. Then people went and voted. The IEBC declared him the winner. The Supreme Court agreed with the IEBC. The international community agreed with the IEBC and said the election was free, was transparent, and it was fair. When I hear people saying that we don't recognize this illegitimate, and they keep on repeating that, I wonder what they are talking about. That is why I ask, at what point do we say that our government is legitimate? So this is the question I'm having, and maybe people from Azimio, when you get time, because the time I was talking, I was in a hurry. I wasn't able to make my submissions. This is what came to my mind, Muzalendo. If you say you don't recognize William Ruto as the president of Kenya, then you say you want to take the petition to him in the office of the president. What are you telling us? You say you want to petition the government, yet you have said there is no government. What are you telling us? So, if for sure they mean what they say, and they believe that the elections that happened in Kenya were not free and fair, and the government that we have is illegitimate, then all the Azimio members of parliament should resign, because they were voted under the same IEBC. All Azimio governors should resign. All Azimio senators should resign, so that what Raila and the team are saying can have weight. They can say for sure there is no need for us to be in the government. Yet we were voted illegitimately and the process was not free and fair. Lakini huwezi kuja hapa utuambia ya kwamba uchaguzi iliibiwa, lakini yenye iliibiwa ni ya rais peke yake, hizi zingine zote zilikuwa sawa. So we continue having the parliament, we continue having other systems of government, lakini kwa rais ndiko kuna shida. I don't think that is fair. Let them resign ili waseme ya kwamba tume resign because we are supporting Baba. Whatever he is saying, it is true. We have decided to step down. If they don't do that, it is hypocrisy of the highest order. There is no way you can petition parliament that you say it has been put there illegitimately. You cannot petition the office of the president. You see, I listened to Karoa and I wondered, this is an intellectual, a lawyer, saying that we are petitioning the office. Does she know that there is no office if there is no an office holder? If the issue is the office of the president are everywhere. They can take a petition to Mombasa, office of the president. They can take it to Sagana. They can take it to Nakuru. So sometimes I listen to them and I wonder, what is she trying to say? That we are not taking petition to President William Ruto, we want to take it to the office. Mzalendo, as I conclude, there is what we call the referent power. It is the power of the office. You might not like me, but if I become the chief of your village, when you have a dispute, you must know whether you like it or not. Geoffrey is the chief, not because of any other factor, because that is an office that I hold, and it is the office that is mandated to take care of certain things. So you have to respect that office, whether you like me or not. If at all you are somebody who understands how things are done. So all these people should know, however much you feel you don't like Ruto, you need to respect him. And no, we don't have another president. He is our president now. He is sworn in, and he is the president of all people. Whether you like it or not, you have to respect that office. By respecting the office of the president, it starts by respecting the president and acknowledging that we have the government. Then from there, you can take the petition to the government that is in existence. Thank you.
You know, Mburu, the issue of legitimacy is a word that is being tossed here and there. That Ruto's government is illegitimate. This is what they are referring to. This word is derived from the word legitimate, meaning legal. Was this government legally assembled? Yes, it is legally assembled by the laws of the country. You understand? Ruto went through the Ruto was declared by the institution called IBC, which is supposed to conduct elections, which conducts elections in Kenya. And it is a body that is in the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. Then, if you have a dispute with IBC, then you take it to court. Then we have the Supreme Court, which deals with presidential petitions. Now, if the Supreme Court rules against you, then that finalizes the petition. It becomes now legal that President William Ruto is now legally the president of the Republic of Kenya. So it becomes a legal. It becomes legal, and it is now lawful let me use the word lawful, that Ruto was elected lawfully, not unlawfully. Instead of using the word illegitimate, then they should be saying that Ruto was elected unlawfully to become the president of the Republic of Kenya. Was he elected unlawfully? No. Was he declared president unlawfully? No. So he is legally the president of the Republic of Kenya. Then when they say Ruto lacks legitimacy, so what do they mean by what does the Azimio supporters mean by legitimacy?
Mm-hmm.
Legitimacy is only provided by the law.
Yes.
It is only provided by the law and the bodies that conduct the elections. Legitimacy cannot be provided by an individual. All right.
Exactly.
Raila Odinga cannot give Ruto legitimacy to rule the country. It is IBC that gives you the legitimacy to be the president of the Republic of Kenya. And if you doubt that, our constitution is so robust that we have the courts, the Supreme Court, that you can run to and petition the legality of this candidate. So that
Mr. you can imagine a situation whereby somebody is calling a government illegitimate simply because there is a whistleblower who is unseen and unknown who said that the results were different.
So
should we believe in our systems that are enshrined in the Constitution, or should we believe from a whistleblower whom we don't know whether he exists or not?
So, yeah, because at the end of the day, there could be another set of whistleblowers coming in to say, you know, the other whistleblower also lied about these figures. I am now the real whistleblower. Now defending Kenya Kwanza's position. So this, just as you put it, the issue of the whistleblower is nowhere in the Constitution of Kenya. And that is the reason why I think the head of IBC is always preferred to be a lawyer. There are questions that they cannot answer in public. But if it was somebody else, probably they would be running up and down, trying to scrutinize the figures that the whistleblower was floating out there. But now, Mburu, this is what I've always been wondering. Maybe you have an answer to it. Now, suppose, okay, the whistleblower thing was correct. Let us assume that, yes, whatever hii kitu yote huyu whistleblower amesema ni ya ukweli. Yeah? It is the truth. Raila won the election according to this whistleblower. And IBC, for some reason, also believe that they did a mistake and they have to go back to it. What happens in this kind of scenario? So this is not a scenario that has ever happened in a presidential election. It was not predicted by the drafters of the Constitution that there will be a situation where we'll have a whistleblower, then there will be a situation whereby IBC did a mistake in its pronouncement of the winner. They instead of giving the rightful winner, they gave it the wrong one. The IBC, the Constitution does not address that. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I have not seen in any chapter of the Constitution or IBC Acts that addresses that particular scenario. So how do we even go back to give Raila his presidency I wanted to see how we are going to give Raila back his presidency. Now that William Ruto has already been sworn in, he's already the commander-in-chief, he has to return the sword and give it to Raila Odinga.
And that's why I'm saying, whichever angle you look at it, it is an exercise in futility. And I believe in Azimio, we have some of the smartest lawyers, the attorneys.
I want us to play the wild card. I mean, let us assume, okay, this thing happened now.
So
the headlines are
that is
everywhere.
where I was going. Yeah. First of all, there is nobody else mandated by the Constitution to pronounce the president, only the chair of the IEBC. So even if we do the scrutiny today, we don't have the commissioners in office. The first thing the Azimio people are supposed to fight on is to, first of all, put in place the commissioners of the IEBC. As we are talking right now, the IEBC is crippled. It cannot take any decision, critical decision.
But Mburu Azimio is demanding that the commissioners be reinstated.
Under which framework? You see, that's what I'm saying. They have good lawyers who are better than us. But it seems they have decided what we call just to take a bright eye and pretend they don't know. Now, there is nothing bad like when you know, but you pretend you don't know. Because I don't think, that they don't know. There is nothing that can reinstate the body that has already been removed. Raila Odinga has very good advisors. They have already told him, man, there is no framework to bring them back. After all, if you resign, you have resigned. That is it. The other one was removed constitutionally, as stipulated by the law. So what are you telling us? Then the other thing is, automatically everybody knows. And it's unfortunate because whatever the president did was within the law. But the president erred only to appoint people and give them, this is just a speculation, instructions. But at whatever cost, you must make sure so-and-so is the one who will be declared. And we saw the attempt of the government, even sending the army commanders to the IEBC, intimidation of the highest level, sending the attorney general, sending everybody everybody who was of high caliber in Kenya visited IEBC to try to force Chebukati to succumb to the pressure and announce Raila Odinga as the winner. So the article or the crowds that had given the president the power or the process of appointing the commissioners, to me, it wasn't very, very good, because you see, all the four who were appointed almost at the end of the, almost at the time of electioneering period, you saw all of them were adamant in the person, they wanted one person to be announced the winner. So if there is something the Azimio are supposed to be fighting right now, it is the process of how we appoint the commissioners, so that we don't have a scenario whereby William Ruto, if he has more power in the whole process, he will appoint people who will only sing his song. So right now they should be fighting to see. And that is the only discussion we should be having. In the discussion they are having, how do we appoint the commissioners of the IEBC? Because if they don't fix that, they are going to cry. They are going to cry. Because there is no way, Mzalendo, you can vote, you can appoint or you can allow somebody, if you have the power to influence, there is no way you can allow Geoffrey to become the commissioner if you know Geoffrey is likely to block you. So you look for people who can agree with you. So we need to have a very clear process of appointing the commissioners, so that at least, though I doubt, so that at least we can have some confidence with the IEBC, without which we will continue crying and singing. So the discussion they're having, the only legitimate thing I think is only one: how do we appoint, how do we select the IEBC commissioners? Everything else I have listened to, there is nothing that is actually of substance. Mzalendo.
You know, the funny thing is that how do we, the big question is, how do we select the IEBC